What's up, tots? Welcome back to my poker vlog. In today's video, we take a trip down to Austin, Texas. Brad Owen, Andrew Nemi, Next Gen Poker, Doug Polk, and a bunch of other creators are all there at Texas Card House. And it's time for us to take their money. Let's get it. There we go. Made it off that bus. Now we're headed over to our airline 3 hours early. Actually, sorry, excuse me, 4 hours early. That's okay. That's how we do. Normally we're late to every single flight, so this time we're gonna be early. This time.
I sold my soul to a Illuminati for a white chick and a new Ferrari. JK, I am hardly the type to sell my soul for money. Know me, I ain't trying to bargain. I keep my enemies in the office. I give them all the dirty work and keep the profit. I ran this shit like time I got you. With a bougie mommy, run up your shit with a Uzi mommy like. Uzi mommy like. Well, young girl look sorry. My girl look clean as a new Ferrari, but the doors go up like. And if you decide to come through with your weekend.
Sterling's paging for Eamon, Andrew, Megan, Bus, Francisco, Franco, Veronica Gonzalez, Maya, Mami, Noah, Mami.
You know, I do not drink coffee, but I woke up early today. Actually, it's kind of good. We made it. We made it to Austin, Texas. All right, well, I forgot shoes. Literally only brought my slippers, so we're gonna go to the mall real quick and buy some. We start off this journey still $2,619 in the hole. If you guys watched the last video, you know we've been climbing out of a $9,000 deficit. That's just from this year. And nothing is going to stop me until I'm even. Nay, until I'm above even. So let's hit the tables and run it up. Today is gonna be a 5-5 session. It's not the biggest stakes I've ever played, but it's still really huge. And you guys already know that Texas is absurd. The meetup started at about 6 or 7 o'clock, but I went in there earlier and lost about $800 at a 1-2. Yeah, it's crazy in Texas. So we gotta make back that money and then some. Let's run it up. Guys, we buy in for $1,000. We're sitting 9-handed, minus one person because there's a seat open for Brad Owen and Andrew Nemi to move around to tables. You know we're gonna try to get it in with Brad Owen. First hand we're gonna go over is my very first hand at the table. I still have $1,000 in my stack. We're on the button and we have Queen Jack offsuit. Under the gun makes it $45. Mid ends up calling, and in position, I'm just gonna call this. Flop comes down Jack of diamonds, 8 of diamonds, 4 of hearts. We're flopping top pair with a pretty decent kicker. I'm thinking we're good here. Under the gun checks, mid checks, and I end up checking for deception. Turn is gonna be the 9 of hearts. We now have a gutter to go along with that. Under the gun checks, mid checks, and I bet $55. Under the gun ends up folding, but middle position calls. The river comes just a complete blank, and mid ends up leading out for $350. Kind of an absurd bet. In all honesty, I was not sure what to do here. I got top pair. I'm thinking maybe he missed a draw, diamonds, hearts. I don't know, honestly. He could have 2 pair, he could have me beat. I'm just gonna call, I don't know. He turns over pocket 9s. So not a good turn for me. Next hand. This one we're looking down at Queen 10 of spades. We got 6-15 in our stack. I didn't want to rebuy. We're in the big blind. Under the gun +2 ends up limping. Late position bets $15 and I make it $50. They both end up calling. The flop comes King of spades, King of hearts, 3 of diamonds. Checks all around. The turn comes the 6 of spades, so I make it 125 and under the gun +2 calls. Now the river comes the Jack of clubs. I completely missed, so I don't know what I should be doing here. I guess I could fire for a third bet, but I mean, he probably already has me beat. I mean, he definitely has me beat. I have queen high. So I end up checking and he checks it right back. He shows me ace 5 of spades. So he wins with ace high, but thank God another spade didn't come. He would have had all my money. Moving on. Next hand we're gonna look at is ace of diamonds, jack of clubs. We have about $400 in our stack. We're in the big blind, and under the gun makes it $20. He gets 2 callers, and I decide I'm just gonna call here. The flop comes 6 of hearts, 3 of hearts, ace of clubs. We flop top pair here with a really good kicker. I'm just gonna check it to the initial raiser. Under the gun ends up checking, and mid bets out $55. The button calls and I call. The turn comes the 6 of clubs. I probably have the best hand here. I check it. Mid bets $100 and the button ends up calling. I think about what to do here, and I think my only option here is to jam. I really don't have that much behind, and they all have me covered, so I think this is it. I ship it all in, and mid thinks for a while and ends up putting in the call. The button ends up folding. The river is a blank, and our opponent flips over. Ace 10 offsuit. I take down a fat stack. Now we can get to work. Keep in mind, in this game, we were playing PLO, double board, bomb pots, every dealer change. I didn't record any of those, but I lost and won a lot of money on those, but most of the ones are just from no limit Holdem hands. So I'm only gonna go over those. If the stack sizes fluctuate at all, it's from those hands. Those were a mother to learn, but they were fun. This next hand is a doozy. I'm in the small blind. I look down at 5 of clubs, 5 of spades. So we got P5, so I got about $360 in my stack. So it looks like we just lost a big PLO hand. Only one person ends up limping over to me, and I raise it to $30. The big blind re-raises to $100, and after a while of thinking about it and the other player folding, I put in the call here. The flop comes 9 of hearts, 3 of diamonds, 7 of diamonds. This is actually really good for me. These are all lower cards, and I think the big blind is only re-raising me with larger cards. So unless he's got a huge pocket pair, I'm putting him on a complete whiff. I think for a minute, I rip it all in, and he ends up going into the tank, and he makes the call. The turn comes the 10 of diamonds, so if he was on a flush draw, he just hit it. The river comes the 8 of spades. Our opponent flips over ace of spades, king of diamonds. So exactly what I put him on. I definitely thought he had ace king, at worst maybe queen 10, but we're gonna take that one down. Right at the end of this hand, Brad Owen just sat down, so he saw me do that. He thinks I'm a complete fish. We're gonna try to get it in with him.
And now we're playing with Brad and with Next Gen.
Yes, sir. We're gonna try to take his money. Next hand we're gonna look at here, we got queen 3 suited. I got about 670 in my stack. This is right after that last hand, and we're in the cutoff. Everyone limps over to me, and I think this is a good spot for me to just limp in there, so I go ahead and do that as well. The button ends up folding, so I got position on everybody. This is great. Now the flop's gonna come down 2 of hearts, jack 9 of clubs. It ends up checking all the way to mid, who bets out $30, and the player on my right calls, and I end up just putting in the call here. We got a flush draw. Let's hit it. The turn comes, boom, the king of clubs. We now have the second nut flush. Middle position ends up betting $60, and I re-raise him to $250. He tanks and eventually makes the call. Late position ends up folding. The river comes the 4 of hearts. If he had the ace of clubs, he's now whiffed it. I'm really hoping he has something here, maybe a set possibly. Please, for the love of God, let him have something. He checks it over to me, I jam, and he instantly folds. He ended up telling me he had the ace of clubs and the 10 of spades or something like that. So it's kind of unfortunate that he didn't have a better hand. We couldn't get more out of him, but he was a really nice guy, so I'm glad. But we're here to make some money. Let's go. We've run it up a little bit more, and we're on the button with ace jack suited. Under the gun ends up raising to $20. He gets 1 caller, and it folds to me, and I make it 65. The big blind makes it 250, and it folds all the way back around to me. He checks his cards, and I can tell he's not super strong by the way he was fidgeting. I've seen him make some big raises like this before, so after some thought, I make it 650. If he jams, obviously I'm gonna fold. He starts counting out his chips and goes deep into the tank, and eventually, he folds. Later, he ended up telling me he had ace king, so I put him on a really strong hand like that, but it wasn't strong enough to make a call like that. If he had jacks or anything lower, he can't call there. Good job, Eli, good read. That table ended up breaking. We move over to a new table. There's a few stacks over 2,000 and 3,000. It seems like a pretty friendly table. The people there are a little bit older, and the first hand in is a PLO bomb pot. FML. We're not going over that though. In this hand, we look over at pocket aces. We've run our stack all the way up to $2,350. Under the gun +2 limps to me, and I make it $30. We get 3 callers. Flops coming down 4 of hearts, ace of hearts, 5 of hearts. So we flop trips, but there are 3 cards to a straight and 3 hearts. It's not looking great. It checks all the way over to me, and I think I'm just gonna put in a bet here. If somebody re-raises me, I don't know. I might have to fold, but I honestly am just not sure what to do here. I make it $110, and the player on my right calls me right away. The turn comes the 9 of spades. This is a really good card. It checks over to me, and I make it $250, putting him on a 1-card flush. He ends up folding, and he shows the king of hearts. So I was right about that. Thank God a heart did not come. That would have been sick. At this point, Brad, Owen, and all the other vloggers have left. I'm just sitting here being a degenerate, trying to make some money. When we look down at Queen 7 of diamonds in middle position, we got about $2,600 in our stack. I'm just gonna limp here because this table's been pretty passive. We get one other limper and the big blind makes it $35. I call in late position calls. Honestly, I don't know why I'm calling here. It was a bad play, but I did it anyways. The flop comes down ace of clubs, king of clubs, 4 of hearts. Middle position bets $75, and I think for a little bit, what can mid have here? I'm gonna re-raise him. I make it 250. I sensed weakness. Late ends up folding and middle position ends up making the call. The turn now comes a 6 of diamonds. Middle position checks it to me and I bet $450 and she goes deep into the tank. She thinks for about 3 minutes and eventually she jams on me. And obviously I have to fold. Good hand at her, but I honestly don't know what she could have. While she's mucking her cards, she ends up showing the 10 of spades. She could definitely have ace 10, king 10. She could have 6-10 for all I care. She had me crushed. But I want revenge. And so this next hand, we're gonna try to get it. Let's go. We look down at pocket sevens. We got $1,650 in our stack and we're under the gun. There was a $10, $20, $40, and $80 straddle. It folded over to me and I made it $300. The $40 straddler calls and the $80 straddler, who was the girl from last hand that showed me the 10, thinks for a couple seconds and jams. I look over at her and I instantly snap it off. I could tell she wasn't super strong. I think we're flipping here. I also wanted to appear super strong to the person that called me, which ended up working because he ends up folding. Once he mucks, she says she's gonna need a lot of help. The flop comes down 6, 6, 6. We already bowed up. It's looking great. The turn comes a 7, and that's just amazing for me. We now essentially have the nuts. Unless she has a 6, I don't know, something like that, which I really doubt, we got it locked down. The river comes a blank, and she didn't end up showing. She said, you got it if you got a pair. I flip over my pocket sevens, and she is heated. She was really angry at me for snapping it off, but I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. What would you do in this situation? She looked like she'd been bluffing all night. It was a pretty crazy turn of events, but it was about a $3,000 pot, so I couldn't be happier. After that, we played a few more hands and we lost a little, we won a little. It was about time I rack up and head home. So we were in for that game for a total of $1,030 and we paid out about $350 in tips, meals, and playtime at Texas Card House. We played for about 9 hours and we cashed out for $3,515. That is a whopping profit of $2,485. So if you take into account the $800 that we lost earlier, we profited about $1,600. And then you take away about the $350 we spent on everything else, we still made about $1,300. That is so fire. Here's what the graph looks like now. We are slowly clambering our way out. At this point, we're only down $955. We are less than $1,000 away from being even. If you guys wanna see if I can get there, make sure you guys subscribe so you can see the next episode. There's gonna be 1 or 2 more Texas Card House vlogs after this video, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. But that's gonna be it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys. All of my new subscribers, welcome to the Watts Tots. And if you guys ever see me at a casino or anything or anywhere, come say hi. It means the world to me. I started a new poker Instagram as well, so if you guys wanna check that out, link to everything is down in the description. That's gonna be it for today's episode. I love you guys so much. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.